This is Things You Might Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and in the queue today, 8 news stories from yesterday, Thursday stories getting into Friday that you vetted as conversational for covering information, politics, current events, and pop culture news. Candace Owens, Patrick Bertoletti, totally butchering that one, and Huey Lewis are in the news today, plus much, much more. We'll explain the process in just a bit, but want to remind you that our website is located at thisisaconversationproject.com. So online, check us out for more details on how we do things around here, just officially, and email us with all your comments as you need to as theconversationinbox@gmail.com. 8 stories, as we said, to get to for today. We'll explain how 8 stories is the number. Bit of a legacy thing. We'll get into that in a minute. And of course, give you some details, some perspective on how they got to where they are. No particular order as they're being presented, but some context down the line. We'll take care of that as well. As we said, go to our email address, which is thisconversationproject.com, or that's a website, or go to email, which is conversation inbox, gmail.com, and get yourself in for what we have going on. Story number 1, for headline number 1, it reads like this, kicking it off right now, and we just can't seem to quit her. It's Candace Owens. Candace Owens has described science as a pagan faith. Now, we're going to do this quickly because I already did a short video yesterday that's out there. So check it out on the page on what I think about this. But this was a very top ranking story that popped up in the day. So we've got to bring it here. More details. Check out my video, which is called, what the hell is she talking about or something like that. But here's the deal. Recently, she described science as a pagan faith during a podcast appearance. She suggested that science has been elevated to a state akin to religion, with experts positioning themselves as deities, that is, the scientists themselves as minor gods, if you will. Owens elaborated that this belief is rooted in her reading of literature that supports the theory of the Earth not being round nor flat, but questioned the dominant scientific narrative, which sounds a lot like BS, which is a lot what she spews anyway, so it falls in line for essentially her brand. Her comments have sparked controversy and debate, particularly among those who uphold the scientific method and its principles, and of course, people who previously followed Candace Owens, who thinks that she's just going beyond the deep end. She is beyond Kanye territory at this point in time, and no one can understand where this is coming from, but it is what it is. We stopped talking about, giving her hugs and talking about, she just needs some love. We just want some understanding of why she's here and wish that she would just kind of go away. Headline number 2 for this morning. This one affects me personally, affects me directly as I am a person who takes semaglutides. I take Ozempic. Semaglutide is linked to a rare eye condition that can cause blindness. Now, here's from the robot editor from the story we pulled from the Yahoo aggregator. Recent studies have linked semaglutide, a medication commonly described for weight loss and diabetes management, marketed as Ozempic and Wegovy, to a rare eye condition known as non-arteritic anterior asymmetric optic neuropathy, or NAION. Very long, so they say it's something smaller. So NAION, I think that's how they're saying it. This condition can result in sudden vision loss in one eye. The Mass Eye and Ear study, part of the Harvard Medical School, highlighted that increased risk after observing cases where patients develop NAION after starting the medication. While the occurrence is rare, still very rare, this association is significant enough to warrant caution and further investigation by healthcare providers and patients using these medications. I personally am dealing with, I'm basically pre-glaucomic. I've had various issues with my eyes all my life, and of course diabetes as well. So this is something that I'm looking out for. But as they're saying, the condition itself still looking like it's very rare, but it's something that can be linked to it. So they're doing more studies. More studies, which is science, is a good thing. Our third story for this morning. Ranger wounded, suspect dead in rare shooting at Yellowstone National Park, National Park Service says. The shooting incident at Yellowstone National Park happened on July the 4th, which resulted in 1 fatality and an injury of a park ranger. The National Park Service reported that the incident occurred at Canyon Village, leading to a standoff where the suspect was ultimately killed. The injured ranger was taken to the hospital. The situation highlights the challenges and dangers law enforcement officers face even in national parks, traditionally seen as safe and serene locations. This is not something you expect on the 4th of July day or just in a park at all. You don't expect shootouts at Yellowstone National Park. Yesterday, unfortunately, there was a shootout at Yellowstone National Park. At this point, this is something you may suspect: more legal issues and more serious legal issues on serious issues with Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy sued by former porn star for alleged sex trafficking through a calculated grooming scheme. That is a quote from the former porn star. Sean Diddy Combs is facing a new sex trafficking allegation brought forth by a former porn star. The lawsuit claims that Combs was involved in a calculated grooming scheme, which led to the plaintiff being coerced into sexual activities. This marks the 9th sexual assault lawsuit against Combs. 9th. The accusation details a systematic approach to trapping the plaintiff in the cycle of exploitation. These allegations add to the growing legal challenges Combs faces, intensifying public scrutiny and legal repercussions for the music mogul. Things aren't looking very good for Sean Combs right now. Not sure how they can come out any better. Things not looking so great for Ellen DeGeneres and her sort of comeback, as she has canceled upcoming shows for her stand-up tour. The canceled shows for Ellen's Last Stand Up comedy tour has been canceled to include performances in Dallas, San Francisco, Seattle, and Chicago, scheduled for July and August. The cancellations were announced on Ticketmaster and have been confirmed by multiple media sources. The exact reasons for cancellations not being disclosed, but it marks significant change in her planned tour schedule. If you're looking forward to seeing Ellen back on stage, it's going to be sometime in September before she actually hits the road again. Your mileage may vary on that one. Let's go to story number 6 this morning. Our headline for this one reads, "Flight to New Hampshire diverted after man exposes himself," federal officials say. This is one that may not be as interesting or be as important as many stories. Pretty gosh darn interesting. Let me tell you what the robot editor pulled out from ABC News. A flight to Manchester, New Hampshire was diverted to Buffalo Niagara International Airport after a man exposed himself on board. The incident involved a 25-year-old man from Oregon who was subsequently arrested and charged with indecent exposure upon landing. Federal officials confirmed the diversion and arrest, emphasizing the serious nature of the incident and the immediate response required to ensure the safety and comfort of all passengers and crew. Story closed, except for the trial. Let's go this one. Now, these next 2 stories are big. These are the top 2 stories of the day. There were a lot of important stories going on. There's actually the story in the fire at the national park and some things that were dealing with really serious issues and really deep political issues. But the last 2 stories, the top stories for the day, which have a chance of being weekend top stories, are these 2. At number 7, this is the second highest story for yesterday. We'll explain how the rankings go in a bit in the conversations. We'll get to the teaser story. The headline reads, "Dad arrested for taking his teen daughter's cell phone away after she sent text messages to her stepsister." Now, in a surprising legal case, a father was arrested for taking away his daughter's cell phone as a form of punishment. Ronald Jackson confiscated his 12-year-old daughter's iPhone 4 back in 2013 after discovering she had sent some messages, some mean messages to her stepsister. This led to a legal battle where Jackson's ex-wife, the girl's mother, reported the incident to the police. Jackson was charged with theft, but a Dallas County jury ultimately found him not guilty. Jackson maintained that he was simply exercising parental discipline to correct his daughter's behavior. Now, I hope that is not a typo, but that seems like a long time, an 11-year wait for jail time for this going on in this incident. It is one of those stories that came from, I believe, like, one of those bloggy places like Your Tango. That's exactly where it came from. So maybe that is the case, and this is a 10-year-old story. But it's an interesting story where a little bit of discipline goes a long way. I heard stories back before I started had my daughter about just in random just conversations about people, men, women, all sorts of folks, literally taking the doors off their daughters' rooms because they just got so unruly at some point in time, because at some point it happens. We ain't got that far to the little one yet, but we will see about things going forward. Taking away our phones, we've done that plenty of times, but never been arrested, because hopefully it's my wife who takes the phone away. So there you go. And finally, the number 1 story of the day, story that everyone was waiting to hear about how things were going to rock and roll for Nathan's Famous, now that that guy, who shall be named in the article, is no longer part of the competition. So what happened? Bertoletti, Miki Sudo, win Nathan's hot dog eating contest as reigning champ Joey Chestnut sits out. That is Patrick Bertoletti. So, in the latest contest that happened yesterday on the 4th of July, Patrick Bertoletti emerged as the winner by consuming 58 hot dogs, while Miki Sudo, Black Widow, set a new record for women eating 51 hot dogs on her own. Notably absent was 16-time champion Joey Chestnut, who was unable to participate in this competition due to a deal he made with a plant-based company called Impossible Foods. They make plant-based hot dogs, and that is against the violations for competing in Nathan's Famous, apparently. However, Chestnut did get his own grub on, raising some money in Texas with an eating contest there. I think he ate about as many hot dogs as Bertoletti in the thing, about 57, 58. So it might have been an actual competition if he'd have been there. But that marks not so much an error, but a change of the guard going forward, unless I'm sure that Chestnut wants to keep the Impossible meat money, so he's probably not coming back to this competition, but we'll see what happens going forward. Now we get to the part where we have our teaser story. This is a story, a headline we do that allows us to, one, explain how we get stories in the feed and the teaser part of it, and two, just tease a story. It's twofer. And this is one that's going to be a big deal going through the weekend, as it's coming into fruition right now, essentially a few hours ago here in the States, as votes are mostly counted and tabulated. And we have our story that's posted now, so you can engage in it all weekend long. UK voters punish Conservatives after 14-year rule, hand Starmer-led Labour landslide win. The Labour Party has won over in the UK, in Great Britain. So after 14 years of Conservatives running the show, they're going to be owned by the Labour Party. That means essentially like Democrats versus Republicans on this end. They brought in Brexit. That was bad. They brought in a bunch of other things that hadn't worked out. They've hired and fired a whole bunch of folks. They had 3 prime ministers in 1 year, essentially, going forward. And people aren't happy. The conditions aren't great for the economy. People just in general just kind of angry. And so right now the Labour Party gets a chance to do what they want to do with the thing. Now, this is a story that will have to survive the full weekend. We have today, that's Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, and a little bit of Monday to get the top 10 stories for the weekend to present for you on Monday. So if this is a story that's going to be big enough for you, and it's a big story worldwide, but is it big enough for you folks as conversationalists with everything else happening, you just engage in the story in the news feeds as you see them. Our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, or X, if you will. Facebook.com/this is a conversation project, and X.com or Twitter.com, they still go to the same places, /th_conversation. And the more you literally engage in the story, just click the little emoji face that you like to, read it a few times, do some comments in the commentary going forward, talk to people about the story. More engagement the story gets, better chance to have a talk about it. As we said, we'll give you 10 stories on Monday from top 30 of the weekend. We get about 30 stories a day, so the weekend, that's 90 stories to go through. For the rest of the week, Tuesday through Friday, we go take those 30 stories, take the top 15 of the day, send you 8 of those. So we had 8 today from the top 15 of Friday. We'll have 10 on Monday, to the top 30 from the weekend. What will be there, we won't know till Monday. So you engage in our feeds all weekend long and let us know what it is we're chatting up, so we know what it is we are actually chatting up. Let's get to our spotlight sponsor for this morning. Putting the spotlight all week, actually, on Blinkist and the Blinkist app. Now, Blinkist allows you to do something that you should be doing more of. And if you want to do more of it anyway, it's already good. But if you're not doing enough of it, it fixes a problem. The problem is reading. We as people, as humans, Americans specifically, are not reading enough. So let's make it easier to read by making those books easier to consume. Real books, real nonfiction and autobiographies that take a while to read, hours to maybe a few days, you can read in 15 to 45 minutes. You can read them or you can listen to them as audiobook forms in 15 to 45 minutes because of the Blinkist app. The Blinkist program allows you to get the full essence of the stories, the headlines, the issues in the books in what's broken down into very detailed blinks that gives you the right there, right now, the information you need to understand them. And in 15 minutes, you can consume a whole book and get the full details of it. And if you want to get the full book and get the whole details of the actual book, there are links to buy from Amazon from directly out of those books. It's right there in the Notion. You can get this for yourself for a very great price, and for others for a low price of nothing, as you can share the app, share the process with what's called Blinkist Spaces that allows other people to listen to your blinks and you discuss them in real time. Check it out at our website for our link for affiliates. This is theconversationproject.com/Blinkist. This is theconversationproject.com/Blinkist. This is an affiliate link, as I said, so we get a small commission for you using it. Check out our sponsors page at our website and see more sponsors there. But if you're a lover of books, and I'm sure you're a lover of quick information because you're at a website like this, a video like this, you're going to love getting in on the Blinkist app. And hopefully you love us. Hopefully you love the Conversation Project. The Conversation Project lives online at this is theconversationproject.com. We are so glad to have you along with us for the ride that is the Conversation Project and being a part of newsy stuff, fun stuff, all the things we do around here. We want to take a quick shout out to thank our supporters. Our $5 level supporters who are buying a cup of coffee include Harold Braxton, Colby Green, and Eldon Kidd. And we have a few other ones at other tiers, at lower tiers as well. The $1 tier, just throwing in spare change. What that does is helps us create more things for the Conversation Project. It helps us do more stuff. If you are new here, then you don't know a lot of the strife and chaos we've had in the last 17 months. 17 months. 17 months being displaced from this room, this studio, this place, after a tornado hit it and had to be rebuilt, and having the details of that being very painful and very painful. Also painful. We've had a chance to learn and grow while in our temporary space, and now we're back to something more permanent. We've grown the studio a bit, more growing to go, and more fun stuff to happen. Now we're kind of getting back into the realm of things, our sea legs back under us, if you will, and learning how to do this thing right, properly, and sometimes better. We're going to find more things are going to be added. We're going to find a few things that are going to have to be subtracted because of time, and you can be a big part of helping us determine that as a partner. Now, if you're not a partner, if you don't want to or cannot afford to help direct fund us, go to our sponsors and buy from them. We get a commission from every sponsorship, so that helps out as well. And if you aren't up for that one, the most important thing you do is contribute by being a part of the family and just following us on the feeds on Facebook and on X and engaging in the stories. That helps us get us who we are. That gives us stories to talk about. Email us at conversationinbox@gmail.com. That will get your chance to talk to us about whatever you need to talk about. We take all comments and considerations, whether they're from the email address or from inside the Buy Me a Coffee platform with the contributors, with the partners. We listen to them all. We do what we can to make them all better. It's what we do. It's how we get things going around here. Hopefully you'll enjoy what we're doing. And if not, you'll tell us. We'll do something else that make you enjoy it. And if not, you'll keep telling us. We'll do something else to make you enjoy it, because we don't intend to be going nowhere. We're going to be here for a while. So buckle up, get ready for the fun stuff that it is. Oh, and speaking of the fun stuff that it is time for things you might ought to know for this day, Friday, the 5th of July, 2024. This is the part where we do what we used to call the fun stuff. I guess we still call it the fun stuff. This is where we do some things that are for today, things that are sort of common knowledge. We do history lessons, we do birthdays, all that stuff. But these are some fun things for today that might be interesting to take along with you for your daytime. Let's start off with our birthdays, because birthdays are the funnest of the fun stuff for the fun stuff. Birthdays for today include Huey Lewis, that guy you saw in the teaser graphic. He's 74 years old on the day today. Also, Edie Falco, who is 61 years old, and Kathryn Erbe, who you remember last time in something major, being Law and Order, one of the Law and Orders, I think it was Criminal Intent, the one where it was Vincent D'Onofrio, being weird, and we're watching the criminals do their stuff, going backwards from that one. That was where she was in the last scene in a major role, but she is 59 years old on the day. Today's history lessons, 3 things that are really big in the invention realm. Starting off with number 1, in 1937 on this 5th of July, Spam, the luncheon meat, was introduced into the market by the Hormel Foods Company. Spam, which is a top grower, a top seller in Hawaii and places like that where processed meats are easy to get to because of lack of farmland, is a very popular, very important food for us all. We may all complain about it. We may call the extra email we got spam because what it is. We may laugh about it because of the of the skits you got from the British guys that doing spam a lot and things like that. But spam's a thing. It's not going away. Admit it. You like it. You don't have to love it, but you like it. Also, in 1946, the bikini was invented in France, Paris, France. Introduced, should say. The two-piece bathing suit introduced on the beaches of France, which people initially thought was scandalous, but the Parisians thought it was a fashion do. And now it's like impossible to find a full body suit unless you're in the Olympics and a woman, because I don't know. I wish the 12-year-old would wear less bikinis, but apparently that's all they sell. And the final story for the day, just going back all the way back to 2023. Remember back into the magical world of 2023? Meta, the parent company of Facebook, officially launches Threads, a new conversation app, that's what they call it, that appeared to be the firm's long-awaited counterpart to Twitter. The app surpassed 2 million signups in the first 2 hours. Mark Zuckerberg wrote on his Threads page. Now, I don't think anyone uses it. We can't figure out a good use for it for you guys here, so maybe we can find a way. If we get stats out of it, maybe we can use that instead of X. But people have basically abandoned Threads for what it is. Just not good. Let's move on to the word of the day. Learning something brought to you by the Big Words Project. More information about it at thebigwordsproject.com. Today's word is perambulator. 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 Totally butchered that. Should have made that leveled that out a little better. Perambulator. That's much better. Perambulator. It's a baby carriage. So call it baby carriage. It's a pram. But used in a sentence, she gently pushed the perambulator through the park, enjoying the peaceful afternoon with her baby. Perambulator. I'd say use it in a sentence, but apparently I can't actually use it in the sentence, so even though I have a sentence in front of me. So this is the one I think I'll let you get off on, because yesterday was Independence Day, United States. We'll give you a pass. We'll give you an extra holiday for words today. But if you want to use it, top it in your vocabulary. It is perambulator. Perambulator. One more time. With feeling. Perambulator. A daily affirmation for the day, something positive to get you through the day. How about this one? Every day I grow stronger and more resilient. This will give you a positive mindset reinforcement. This affirmation encourages a positive outlook, reinforcing the belief that challenges contribute to personal strength and resilience, making you more optimistic and proactive facing life's challenges. Let me say that again, that challenges contribute to personal strength and resilience. So repeat this to yourself and remind you that you grow stronger and more resilient every single day. No matter what happens in the day, you get a little bit better every single day. Finally, celebrate, dance to the music that is Apple Turnover Day. Also called hand pies because their design makes them portable, apple turnovers have been around since the 17th century. Bakers fill a smaller, flaky pie crust with fruit or meat and fold it in half. Like meat pies. It's the same thing, a turnover with whatever you want to put in there. But today, we're focusing on the apple version. Once the edges are sealed, the pie is baked or fried, and added sweetness, dusting of sugar, or icing on top. Alternate vacation days, alternate celebration days include graham cracker day, also go to apple turnovers, and mechanical pencil day. The kid loves mechanical pencils. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe because you can click them and pull them back up. Maybe because she's like spending money on pencils. It is her thing. Our thing is done for Friday, July the 5th, 2024. My name, Jay Clifton Payne. This has been both things you might not have heard and things you might ought to know for this day. Thank you so much for being a part of the family for the show. If you joined us for the live version streaming for the start at 5:50 a.m., thank you for being live here. Make sure you throw some comments in there in the chat so we can get that. Also, if you're recorded, just chat as well. Give us some comments. We know when you listen to it, where you listen to it, how you got to it. If there's any news stories that were good or any that you actually saw and engaged in yesterday that you thought, hey, this one should have been bigger. Maybe it actually was in range and I didn't choose it. Maybe it wasn't. We can chat that up offline at our email address, theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Make sure you stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task for all the grand things you are here on the world to do. Love you, mean it. We have the weekend stuff to work on. We're going to wrap up the weekly wrap-up numbers and have that prepared, have the newsletter, and we'll actually record something this week. We're going to use our new format and figure out how to record that. So we'll record some things out there and some stories of the week as well. So wrapping up for the weekend with great stuff. hopefully you'll be a part of that. Separate feeds for that one, but check it out on the website. This is theconversationproject.com to find out all of those places, all those things, all the ones you get to. In the meantime, let's get out of here. We're done for this Friday. Enjoy, if you got the day off, enjoy the extra day off for Independence Day. If you don't, well, enjoy the day. Let's just say that. We shall see you come Monday, or if you watch the recorded stuff all weekend long, but live again at 5:50 a.m. come Monday.